Um, Caelon, do you want to tell the story? Or do you want me to tell the story?
You got it.
Going into my first outdoor conference ever, I got put in the room with our leading 400 runner, Caelon Harkey. Eventually would go to win conference. For reference, I'm out there when I need to be, but when I'm inside doing whatever else I need to do, I don't really talk too much and I'm very quiet. Caelon saw that side of me. We're trying to go to sleep. He said something about, Corbin, I didn't like you at first.
You're annoying.
And now Caelon keeps blowing up my phone and wants to talk to me 24/7 all the time.
And I'm begging to be on the podcast. I was pleading.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Oval Office, a podcast for track athletes by track athletes. Today, we're joined by a special guest of mine, somebody I hold near and dear to my heart, and unfortunately, I have to say that just to make him feel better about himself. But we're here with an old friend of mine to talk about, the transition from, collegiate sports to the real world and ask how he's doing and everything. So, without further ado, let's introduce Caelon Harkey. Welcome to the show, Caelon.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to do this with you.
I don't think anybody's ever said something so monotone like that.
I meant to yell. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. Do you
But
want
that's
to?
really cool. Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, good. So, Caelon and I were on the same track team in college, Northwest Bearcats. So he may not claim it, but he's OABAB for life, and he can't get away from that. So, Caelon, do you want to give a little rundown of, who you are? Introduce yourself to the crew.
Yeah. Caelon Harkey. I was a sprinter at Northwest for 4 years. Came in at 2017, graduated 2021. After I graduated, I got into the transfer portal. I had 1 year of eligibility left due to COVID. Went up to Grand Valley State in Michigan, used my last year there. And then I did an additional year to be a grad assistant on the track team there and finished up my master's in 2023. I graduated with my master's at Grand Valley. Now in 2024, I'm working full time. I'm an investigator for the state of Michigan, and I am no longer an athlete.
Let's give you props because now you're a real adult and you made it through and you have your master's. That's big.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Black excellence during Black History Month. We love to see
of course,
it.
of course. I
So,
think the reason I got my master's was that I wanted to use that extra year, but whatever.
I mean, for any athlete, isn't that what it is?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we're just not ready to let go of the sport yet. So,
Yeah.
which is exactly why I'm not getting my master's because I love the sport, but I didn't want to go to school for another year and a
Yeah.
half. But yeah. So, other than that, what's been cracking? How's Michigan?
Michigan's cool. I really do like this state. I remember my first time being here was, what was it, 2022 Outdoor Nationals. I was a Bearcat at the time. And I was like, this place is pretty cool. I like the vibes. The weather can be a little funky sometimes, but I was just really impressed with Grand Valley, obviously. At that time, leaving Northwest, but I didn't know where I was going.
Hmm.
I didn't know if I wanted to even continue my track career.
Hmm.
I got in the portal super late, I think either late June or early July of that season or that postseason I got in the portal.
Hmm.
But yeah, I really like Michigan. Really cool place. Really pretty. Like the lakes out here. So I like Michigan. I think I'm gonna stay here for a little bit.
For a little bit. Dang. So you really did leave us in the Midwest.
Yeah, even though technically they do claim Michigan as the Midwest here.
I
I
mean,
respect.
I guess technically,
Yeah,
yeah.
I disagree. We're on Eastern Standard Time, so it's just like that. I don't understand, but
Wait, are you an hour ahead of me right
yeah,
now?
it's 8 p.m.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I go to bed at midnight, so
So you still have the college
yeah, I still
lifestyle
have the
going
college
on.
mentality. I wake up at 7, so that's enough hours. So
Yeah, actually
it
that kind of
works.
works. Yeah.
It works. I'm surprised that it works. I've been working now full time since November.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
so yeah,
like your job? Do you enjoy it?
I do actually like my job, surprisingly
Yeah.
enough. I know I can be one to complain sometimes.
Yeah.
Pretty opinionated, but I actually do like my job.
Caelon doesn't do anything at work, by the way.
People ask me often like, what do I like about working and stuff. I like compared to being an athlete. Now that I'm an adult, independent adult. Um,
Yeah, independent, living on your own, got a two bed
yeah,
and paying for it all by yourself.
yeah. Now that I'm an adult, I really do appreciate the fact that my day ends when my work day concludes. So my day ends at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and
Yeah.
there's no afternoon waits. There's no like study tables at Grand Valley. They have that. It's like my day is free from
It's good.
5 p.m. to midnight. I can do whatever I want. And I
Yeah.
really do appreciate that. And it's like, man, this is kind of nice.
What do you do with your free time now? What do you do when you
Well,
get off work?
so when I get off work, I usually just do just relax for an hour or two, probably an hour and a half. Just get on my phone, I play some Monopoly Go. I'll
You're a
lay
big
down.
Monopoly. You know what? That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, yeah. I'll lay down for a bit and then I'll head to the gym, get at least a 50-minute workout. Then I'll come back, have some protein, maybe get started on dinner, and then maybe I'll get on the game for a little bit. And
You
then
game?
I game, yeah, not too much, but just like Fortnite a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think I've
And
played
then
Fortnite since it came out. I'm not gonna lie.
really,
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun.
yeah,
But I'm a seasonal gamer, so I'm my seasonal gaming now.
yeah. Just
But
whenever you have time.
yeah,
Yeah, because life be lifing for real.
it does. It
Yeah,
does be doing.
but yeah. Did you watch the Super Bowl this weekend?
I did.
What are your
I did.
thoughts?
It was a good game. I really wasn't rooting for anyone, obviously.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not really from KC, but the Chiefs are cool.
it's okay.
So
If Liv can rep KC and actually half of Omaha rep KC, then you can.
yeah,
We'll
yeah, I
take
can claim them.
another. Yeah, yeah.
But
We'll
yeah, it was a good game.
yeah. It was enjoyable.
The Chiefs has played sloppy the whole first. Well, I would say the first three quarters.
Yeah, yeah, very.
But good game.
Yeah. See, you're a Chiefs fan. I mean, you're in a group full of Chiefs fans anyway, so
I think I have to now. I have
yeah,
to be a Chiefs.
exactly. So it's okay. We'll allow it. But obviously, very proud. Very
You know
proud.
who you're. Are you going to the parade?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I might just because of I have like a media partnership thing that I'm doing, and I think they want me to go. And
okay.
I have to talk to my partner slash boss later about that, but I wasn't planning on it because I went to the last two Super Bowl parades and I'm good. Anyway, let's move on to let's move on to the reason I brought you on here. And we talked about it a little bit. I kind of want to rehash what life was like for you as an athlete and talk a little bit about what life is like after being a collegiate athlete. So we'll start from the beginning. Why did you choose Northwest? Because the Northwest that you came into was completely different from the Northwest that you left. So what was your thought process on that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, so I came to Northwest. I had a couple of offers. One was, I think it was like Nebraska Wesleyan,
Mhm.
and then Kearney, and then Northwest. And I was pretty much in between Northwest and Nebraska Wesleyan. Those were my top two at that time. And I went on a visit to both of them, stayed overnight at one of them, but not Northwest. On my visit, I was just really impressed by the culture and the athletic environment. And coming from high school, like there's nice athletic facilities there. Um, so I was just impressed with what I saw. I knew the team at that time wasn't that great, but there's always room to grow, and I wanted to add to that. I really liked the coach who recruited me. She was a really nice lady. I just liked the environment. So I was like, yeah, I'll go for it. I'll go to school here. And if need be, I can always transfer later. Or if track doesn't work out, I don't have to run track. So I could see myself being a student by myself there, and then also if I was also a student athlete, which is what I initially came for.
And it's interesting that you said you were comfortable with being there without being an athlete, because I think a lot of athletes choose a school, me being one of them,
Mhm.
choosing a school because they can be an athlete there.
Mhm.
And what, so what was it like coming into your own as one of the best Northwest athletes to be there?
Man, I don't even know. Um, well, we knew there was potential there
Mhm.
coming out of high school. I didn't run crazy fast times in high school, and I was in a slower state, but I won a decent amount of meets as a high school athlete. So we knew there was potential for me to be um, one of the few good people at Northwest to come through. I really don't think I blossomed or had a shining moment until like my conference meet of my outdoor conference meet of my freshman year. I think my whole indoor season was pretty crappy. I ran like some decent splits indoor, and then when it came to outdoor conference, I ran 48-1 as a freshman, and
Mhm.
that was a really like a big breakthrough, especially after having a kind of a subpar season. I mean, we don't expect freshmen to be great or anything, but seeing that, I was like, oh, maybe there is potential for me to actually, progress in this program and be an important factor when it comes to conference championships and potentially qualifying for a national meet. And then after that freshman year, my coach ended up leaving, and Brandon Masters came in, and then just being able to grow with him in that program for the next 3 years was something that was kind of scary because it was new territory. You
Mhm.
know, I'm with a coach who didn't recruit me, but we worked through it. And I just feel like good communication and really just trusting the program and trusting the coach really helped to get me to where I ended up being.
I've only known you at Northwest from, what was it, your junior and senior year?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're
So
2 years younger. When did you
yeah,
graduate high school?
19.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you, well, coming in, I was looking at everybody's times. That's kind of what you do as a
Yeah.
freshman.
We all do that. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Been
Yeah.
there, done that.
So I was kind of looking at your times and being like, okay, this is him, this is, that guy. But I feel like you really blossomed your junior and senior year when you finally got used to master's training. And I remember talking about that with a couple different people, I think you included. What was it like to finally get comfortable with Coach Masters later in your Northwest career?
Oh man. Well, good, of course. I mean, it just felt like it was like a long time coming. I had been running, I really just ran pretty crappy my sophomore season, honestly. I ran the same times indoor and outdoor, which you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And that was pretty defeating. I remember my sophomore season, I was the first one off the podium. I got fourth in the indoor 400, and I was just so defeated. So finally being able to blossom my junior and senior year and to run the times the coach believed I could run, but I just
Mhm.
wasn't producing at that time was really rewarding. And to understand that, progress can look any kind of way in the track and field world. Like you can come out of high school running 47s and then go through 3 seasons in college and run 49. So
Mhm.
it's a different path for everybody and a different story. But finally being able to blossom and trusting his coach, trusting his coaching and trusting his training was something that I was really happy that it worked out that way.
And you can choose to answer this or not, but you seem to have had like a special bond or like relationship with Masters. What kind of brought that about, and what kind of made you trust him and trust in his training?
I just think having an open connection, or not connection, open communication
Hmm.
with your coach really plays into athletic success. Telling your coach what you need from them and them telling you how to get there is, I feel like, a pretty direct way of planning out your success and the times you want to produce and need to produce in order to do what you need to do for that program. So I just think the communication that we were able to have while I was there um, was good. And also the fact that, I was still fairly new to college. I was a sophomore when he came in, and he was new to the school. So kind of being in the same boat as we want to grow this program. We want to have successes at the conference level, and at the national level. So how can we find common ground and how to get there?
Hmm.
So I think that really benefited, the both of us being able to have that communication with each other and have the same goal.
And building off of that, it's always hard to, think about your life differently, or like if you had chosen a different school, different training or different like partners that you train with, but you decided to make the jump and go, what, 13 hours north and go to Grand Valley State to do your master's. So talk to us about that decision for you and what kind of brought you to leave Coach Masters, who was coaching you right, to go to a different program.
Oh man. Yeah, well, a lot of my friends know that was a really hard decision for me to make. Just a lot of big decisions had to be made at that time. But I think one thing that made it the easiest was Northwest did not have the master's program I wanted.
Hmm.
They didn't have the graduate degree I was looking for. So it's like, okay, I have to leave, is what happened in my mind. At that point, after I graduated Northwest, I was like, I might just go be an athlete, or sorry, I might just go be a student at UMKC. At that time, they had no track program. I might just be a student there and get my master's there. And so I took that whole summer to just figure out what I wanted to do. I remember I went to Texas that summer. My cousin was getting married. I was in Texas. This was in July, or June, excuse me. And I was like, I probably should get in the portal now. Like maybe I do want to see the opportunities, and I can always say no. I can always be like, I don't want to run track anymore. So yeah, I didn't work out that summer. Just relaxed, really just enjoyed a summer for once.
Hmm.
Um, and then I ended up, I know I contacted Wichita State, went on a visit there. I got some contacts from some other schools in the MIAA, and then out of the blue, I get an email from Grand Valley. And I'm like, there's no way this big school who just won a national championship, a team title, wants me to be on their team. I'm like, there's no way. And I looked at their roster, looked at their teachers, and realized they didn't really have many strong individuals in the 400.
Hmm.
They had a lot of, I had two decent 400 hurdlers, but
Good 400
yeah.
hurdlers.
And then that year they also got third in the 4x4. I'm like, and I believe one of the hurdlers was leaving. I'm like, I can fill in that spot. I guess I can go there and fill that spot that's being vacant now for the 4x4. And then some emails back and forth between me and the coach, looking at scholarship, looking at what it's going to take to get there. I'm like, I can't go here. So I just stopped responding at some point and just thinking, looking at other schools, looking at other contacts I'm getting from the portal. And then he texts me again. He's like, so what are you deciding on? And then I go over numbers again with my dad, and I'm like, let's go on a visit. He's like, okay, yeah, you can come up. It's just gonna be probably me, you, and the head coach because it's summer, obviously. But you can come up here and we can talk things out and figure things out. And I went out. We did the drive. It's like a 10-hour drive.
Hmm.
Did the drive up. Went to the campus and was just blown away again. It's just a huge university. It's like 25,000, 25,000 students
Geez. Biggest
go
D2
there.
and biggest D2, right?
I believe so. I don't quote me, but one of the biggest D2s.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
two campuses. The campus I went to because I was a grad student was downtown. It's just so much stuff. Nice facilities, crazy stuff. But anyways, went on the visit, was just blown away. Was really impressed with the coach. He was a younger guy. He has left since then. Younger guy, early 30s, really relatable. He was a black man as well. Something that I have not had or hadn't had a black coach since what, middle school.
Hmm.
So a lot of things are just kind of clicking in the right direction for me at this school, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, what are the odds? I'm looking at a school that just won a national championship. They have great facilities. They have a great master's program. The coach is a really personable guy. I'm like, what are the odds? So go back to Nebraska after that. Just think things out, hash things out with my dad, go over numbers. I ended up going on vacation to Miami a week
Oh,
later.
you was everywhere this
That
summer.
was a
What?
busy summer.
Yeah.
It was a busy summer for me. Yeah. It was a graduation gift for me and my sister because she got her doctorate that year and I got my bachelor's.
Black excellence. Okay.
So we did
Subtle
family
flex.
did a family trip to Miami. And I was like, I think I'm ready to decide on what school I'm going to go to. And I ended up calling him up, and I was like, yeah, I really want to accept this offer, and I want to train with you guys in the fall. He's like, okay. He faxed me over the papers, and I signed, and I was ready to go.
That's dope. Talking about the different program, it was very different. It's very different from Northwest. So what was difficult about switching, and what were some of the key differences between Northwest and Grand Valley State training?
Yeah, well, so going to Northwest at the time, I think when I was an athlete there, I had like maybe 75 athletes on the team.
Hmm.
And when the year I was at Grand Valley, I think it was like 170.
Jeez.
So a huge difference. I went around team meetings and campus not knowing anybody. I literally moved there by myself. I knew no one besides the coach, which is like that's so crazy to think I did that, but it all worked out. There's I think maybe six coaches on staff there, three athletic trainers for track at that time. It was a whole bunch of stuff there, but the biggest differences when it came to training with masters, you ran fast early. Your
Hmm.
season opener was pretty quick. If not a PR, it was close to your PR. The way I was trained at Grand Valley was for late peaking.
Hmm.
So peaking around conference championships, peaking around national championships that time. And and both ways work. Like they do work. Both ways are a way to be successful.
Hmm.
But I feel like at the at the age I was having maybe I started working out in maybe that summer of like late July, trying to get back into things.
Hmm.
Me doing that new method of peaking late, I think it just really prolonged my fitness at the time. So
Yeah.
I opened up pretty slow. I was running pretty crappy times. I really wasn't that quick on the speed end of things. I had decent endurance, but I really wasn't quick like I used to be at Northwest for that first year. And honestly, that whole indoor season, my first indoor season at Grand Valley, it was just a whole bunch of like just trial and error.
Hmm.
I know me and my coach at the time, he would do like mandatory meetings. I think they were every month, and just one on ones, just you and him. Just go in his office and you just tell him what you need, ask you how life's going, ask how class is going, just
Hmm.
anything. Not even just related to track, just anything. And I really did appreciate about that. Appreciate him for that because it was such a time for me to just go in there and decompress and be like, hey, I missed the bus to my class downtown last week, or I'm trying to get my eating habits better, or just anything.
Hmm.
But in a lot of those meetings, we would talk about my fitness and my training, and he's like, "Oh, it'll come, you'll get there." And unfortunately, I didn't end up qualifying for in my individual event for nationals for indoor.
Hmm.
I think I was like maybe two or three people out from making it,
Hmm.
and I went that whole indoor with no PRs. And it was like, man, did I make the right choice going here? Like, how, like, what's going on? But me and him spoke again, and we just adjusted my training and adjusted the things necessary for me to be successful. And then by the time outdoor came, I was rocking and rolling back like the old Caelon. Yeah, I just think the biggest difference, especially with him, is I was kind of uptrained at Grand Valley,
Hmm.
in the sense of masters we didn't really go over 300 meters, a lot of speed work, a lot of speed work.
Yeah.
With my coach at Grand Valley, I ran a couple of like 400s at practice at a slower pace. I ran like a 600, and I ran like a few 500s.
Hmm.
And if you know me, I can't I
Yeah.
cannot do that.
Yeah.
I At the end of my 400, I would break down really bad form out the window.
Yep.
So me and him just figuring out how to give me that mileage or meterage,
Hmm.
but chop it up in bits and pieces so I can actually finish my reps and not be collapsing and
Not be dying. Yep.
yeah, and just falling apart.
Yeah. yeah, it's interesting how different they are because former GLIAC school Ashland used to run their 400 squad, their sprint squad, kind of similar to yours, where they
Hmm.
had distances. They did 500, they did over
Right.
distance training and stuff like that. But they have good squads.
Hmm.
But you look at Northwest, who I mean, rankings just came out what yesterday, today. Women are eighth in the nation right now, and men are 11th, which is complete like flip training, different philosophies, but they're
Yeah.
still doing
Yeah.
successful things. Like that's just it's strange to me how up north it's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but they still have solid teams. So
Right.
it's not thank you for that insight because I mean the coach brain in here is really feeding off of
Yeah. It's
that.
learning. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is kind of funny. Because I just love talking about this with Caelon. So I want to talk about friends because Caelon's collegiate experience on and off the track was very on the track it made sense. Off the track was what nobody wanted from him. Um he was very shy and didn't like to talk to anybody. And I didn't become friends with Caelon until literally the last meet that we competed together at. Um Caelon, do you want to tell the story or do you want me to tell the story?
You got it.
In college, you kind of learned it. You're kind of figuring yourself out. And me personally, I'm a very extroverted person, and I conveyed that in a very obnoxious way, which is fair. I've learned I shouldn't have been as obnoxious as I was sophomore year. But Kalen specifically avoided me for 2 years because he thought I was too much. He literally said I was too much for him. And going into outdoor conference, so this was my first outdoor conference ever. So I was like nervous. I didn't know what to do. I got put in the room with our leading 400 runner, Caelon Harkey, who was supposed to, well, eventually would go to win conference. So I was sitting there nervous, just scared. I was like, okay, I'm I'm just gonna go room with him. So we're getting to, was this the night before we competed? Or is this like the night before shakeouts or something? Anyway, that the details don't matter. For reference, I'm out there when I need to be. So like when I leave the house, my extrovert comes out, but when I'm inside doing whatever else I need to do, I don't really talk too much and I'm very quiet. And Kaylin saw that side of me. And what he likes to do when we're trying to go to sleep, we were just laying in bed in complete dark, and he just starts rattling off these questions. And after every single question, he would say, "Okay, I'm done. I'll go to sleep." Then ask another question. So one of his questions, or he said something about, uh, Corbin, I didn't like you at first, or something, and that like shocked me because why did you not like me?
You're annoying.
Okay, yes, I was annoying. I was very annoying.
Is that simple? Yeah.
And now and now Kaylin keeps blowing up my phone and wants to talk to me 24/7 all the time.
And I'm begging to be on the podcast. I was pleading. I needed to be relevant so bad. That's what it was.
It's because you're holding on to your college days and you don't have anything of glory anymore.
No eligibility. Pretty sad.
Oh yeah, we're on the same level now. We are the same. How's that make you feel?
We were always on the same level.
That's not true.
We were always on the same level.
Not true. And you know it. Anyway, I say all that because Kalen didn't make friends until the summer or at Northwest. He didn't really hang out with us. He was too cool, too fast, too whatever. He was too Hollywood for us. Until the summer he was about to leave for Grand Valley. So what's it been like for you to make all of your friends late in your career and then have to switch to a new friend group at Grand Valley?
Yeah. Probably not the best method on my part to go about that. But yeah, I just really kept to myself when I was at Northwest. But I mean, I feel like before I left to go to Michigan, I really enjoyed my summer with you guys. I hung with you guys pretty often that summer,
I would hope
as,
so.
as much as I could. I don't know. I think what helped was going to Grand Valley and was like to be in school and to be in a program. I said, okay, well, I'm busy, so I don't really necessarily need to be talking to people 24/7 because I have these papers to write or these books to read or whatever the case may be. but it was pretty challenging after building such strong connections with people, um, and then graduating too, and then having to go on and do it all over again. But it turned out okay, and it wasn't that rough. But yeah,
How far away do you live from Grand Valley right now?
so right now I live about an hour away,
Oh, okay.
and I pretty much see them maybe I would say maybe like 3 weekends out of a month,
Oh,
out of the month. So
that's a
pretty often,
lot. Yeah.
yeah. So
So basically, you're saying the Michigan kids are better than the Missouri kids.
I did not say that.
You didn't have to. You're implying it.
I did not say that.
Okay, I'm gonna tell everybody in Missouri, and well, actually, we need to come up to Michigan and come meet your friends anyway.
You guys do need to have a crossover.
That's gonna be like a Jimmy Timmy Power Hour type deal.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I
it'll be like a like harmonious or it'll be like gang wars or something.
think it'd be harmonious. I think it would be. I feel like my Michigan friends and my Missouri friends would mesh well.
What's it been like for you to, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but what's it been like for you to not be an athlete anymore? And what's kind of been the hardest part of no longer having a regimen to follow and everything?
Yeah. So when I was a GA at Grand Valley, that was honestly a rough year because the coach who coached me had left. He moved on to a different university, and so me and the other student helper were essentially training the sprint squad for like a month and a half with just me and him. And the sprint squad was like maybe I think just shy of 30 athletes.
Mhm.
So it's me and him every day um, on the track and the weight room with them, and that was just really hard. I
Yeah.
didn't really have any desire or passion to be a coach. This was just the deal me and the coach that recruited me came up with. I run the first year, second year I'm a GA, so I can just stay on scholarship and help out where needed. And so when he left, that deal still stayed in place. 'Cause I still need to graduate.
Mhm.
Um, so it was. Uh, I feel like it just helped me, grow and mature as a person and, helped me just stay consistent because that pretty much made my schedule that year that I was an athlete. I had to still be pretty active in the track and field world at Grand Valley and help at the meets and whatever the case was. I don't think they got a coach until late October of that
Mm.
season. So, um, yeah. But after graduating, I feel like it was pretty difficult to find like a routine and to figure out what to do, especially with like trying to find employment, whatever. So I took a break from working out in general. Yeah, as you know, been trying to put on weight forever. I was
Yeah.
a smaller guy. I was like 145 and I was an athlete.
What are you at
Um,
right now?
160.
Nice.
I want to be, I do like 160, but I think I don't know. I'll take 165, but I think well, I'm 24 now. Maybe at like 26, I want to be like 170.
Man, you want to put on weight.
Oh wait, yeah.
Man, you want to be up there. You want to be up there like me.
What are you at?
Right now, last time I weighed myself, I think I was 183. Yes, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to be beefy,
that's
but
okay. I'll send you my workouts. And however, I put on muscle a lot
yeah,
quicker than you do. Not
yeah.
saying that you're not big. It's just
It takes
I'm.
a. I don't know what it is in my DNA that will not allow me to put on weight.
It's because you're built for speed. I'm built for meatheadedness.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, in that transition between being a athlete and a GA into the adult world, I stopped working out for a little bit, trying to figure out what to do. And then finally, now that I do have a routine, I just go to work out, eat, hang out. Yeah, I play the game a little bit. But I do think the hardest part about not being an athlete, and I mean, you probably know this because I do, I'm really verbal with my thoughts and and just feelings. Um, I did not enjoy training. I did not enjoy the hard workouts. I did not enjoy being getting the lactic. I did not enjoy just being so drained. And I feel like, to the regular person, it's not understood how hard it is to be a track athlete or to be a collegiate athlete, period.
Mhm.
You go through so much. You're literally training from summer to summer, really.
That's yeah, basically.
Yeah, you get some weeks off or some months off, maybe a month off, actually.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a lot, and to balance your academics and to balance relationships and to try to get a degree while doing that, it takes a lot to do that successfully.
Man, you spitting. Come on.
Yeah, it takes a lot to do that to get it done.
Yeah.
So I think the thing I miss the most is just being able to go out and like compete.
Hmm.
Um, I was so competitive, and I still am in just like little silly things. Me and my girlfriend will play ping pong, and I'm so competitive in ping pong nowadays. It's just like anything. I just miss having that competitive, spirit. Um,
Hmm.
so going out and being a GA and just watching the girls and guys compete and watching them, reach PRs and watching them achieve these great things. It's like, man, I wish I had just a couple more years to do that or an opportunity to do that one more time. But
Hmm.
then I see them in practice bent over and throwing up. I'm like, okay, I don't want it that bad. I don't want it that bad.
uh, but it was also like a sense of I don't want to sound cliche, like camaraderie. There's
Oh,
a
for
sense
sure.
of, yeah, yeah, about like dying together.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I remember when we were running and it'd be like a super hard workout and we'd all hate our lives, but we like got to laugh about it like
Hmm.
15 minutes after. Like we forgot about the pain. Well, we didn't forget about the pain, but yeah. And that's what I was gonna say. Like I'm a little different. Um, I also don't miss the pain, but I also miss having that pain and being able to push through that. And I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm still fresh out of not being an athlete, but I'd miss having something that's hard because now I can't. I don't know if it's like this with you, but now I can't go work out without pushing myself super hard or the only way for me to feel something working out is by doing like a speed endurance workout. And that's been hard for me to like how do you work out and be athletic without being an athlete again, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
And what are your thoughts on not having the same structure as a collegiate athlete? Because for you it was 6 years if you count GA, which you were still in school and being a coach, to now being a full-time employee and all of this. What's it been like the change in structure for you, and has that been difficult at all?
I think I accept change fairly well. Um,
That's proven
yeah,
after the 3, 4 coaches you've been through.
yeah. I think I accept change pretty well. I've, I just adapt, honestly. Um, I like working. I like, this is my routine now.
Hmm.
Like working, I like being able to provide for myself. I like the freedom that comes with it. And, that chapter of being an athlete in my life is closed.
Hmm.
And now, um, just because me being a GA was such, I don't want to say stressful. I don't want to
Hmm.
make it sound like it was this burden, but
It's a
it
lot
was
of work.
a
It's a
lot of
lot of
work.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work and also balancing getting my master's degree. I had some challenges, trying to graduate on time and make sure I'm helping these athletes because I know if I was in their shoes and I got a new coach just in October and yeah, October of a season, I'd want as much help as possible. And so trying to make sure that their needs are being met as athletes, and former teammates of mine, I feel like I was just spread thin when it came to balancing, being a GA, being a student, um, and keeping my relationships with my friends and my girlfriend and my family solid. I just felt like I was really spread thin. So I think due to that and how much um, effort I put into all those avenues of my life, my last year of college, um, I think it made me really appreciate how life is now and the freedom that I do have now, and the fact that now I can just truly be a fan of the sport, and I
Mhm.
can admire what my friends who are still athletes and still competing, what they do now. I can like, oh, that's crazy. I'm so proud of them. I'm so happy that they've come this far, and I can just truly enjoy it as a spectator.
That's awesome. That hits. That hits.
Yeah.
Um, do you think you would have the same sentiment if you didn't get all the accolades that you had?
Um, I believe so. Just because just for doing it for so long,
Yeah.
it becomes something that's really, ingrained into your mind, and it becomes a part of you.
Hmm.
But I think I did a decent job of making sure that track wasn't my whole personality.
Hmm.
I like to laugh and be silly and stuff, but
Again, in the most monotone way of saying it.
yeah. But I think I did a decent job of just even if track wasn't a great memory for my life, I think I would have still been able to appreciate what it has done for my life, and the joy it did bring me and the friendships it has brought me, because it's done a lot for me.
Mhm. I think that's like a solid way to end the episode. I don't like that's just the highest note of what you can get out of collegiate athletics. I think that's huge. Actually, what advice do you have for outgoing student athletes? What like as they transition to the real life, what would you say? What would you advise them to do so that they can kind of cherish their sport and be successful outside of their sport later on?
Oh man, not advice. Um, well, for anyone who's still in athletics right now, use all of your eligibility. Use it. Use every single second of it. You only have
Yeah.
so many years to compete for university. You got to use it. And I know maybe when you're 30, you'll need a new hip or something, but at least you used every single opportunity they gave you. Um, because it always feels like it goes faster than what it actually did.
Hmm.
But advice on outgoing student athletes, just be grateful, be very grateful, and reflect on the joy that you did have as a student athlete. Change is good. It's time to grow your career and grow outside of track and field. And if your career isn't track and field, that's even better. But just because you're not an athlete anymore doesn't mean you have to give up doing competitive sports, or just because you're not a collegiate athlete doesn't mean you have to give up doing competitive sports, or doing anything like intramurals. But you can still be a fan of the sport. You can still support the people you love, support your friends. Life isn't over after track, and your identity isn't your sport. So just keep in mind you have so much more to you than what you've done for the past 4, 5, 6, 7 years, however it may be.
Well, thank you so much for the words of wisdom, Kaylin, and thank you for coming on. It's been such a pleasure. Like I miss you, man. So I'm glad that
Thank
you
you too,
came
man.
on.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having me. I appreciate it.
of course. And if you wanna be on again, I mean, we can find some stuff to talk about. If you wanna talk about whatever, I mean, that's what this is for, I guess.
I'm down. I can talk.
Oh, we know. And
Yeah,
that's why I need to put a warning at the beginning of this because I knew that this was going to be long. I knew that we were going to talk about something because we always find
something to
reasons to
talk
talk for
about.
hours. But anyway, thank you guys for watching another episode of The Oval Office. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Want more from me and Kaylin, let me know and we'll get it going for sure. We enjoy this stuff. But until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your time beyond when you watch this, and we'll see you next time.